Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets last night, 110-98. Denver, done. They go home after one round in the Western Conference playoffs. Along with Michelle Smallman, who's rapping, Courtney Cronin, Evan Cohen with you. Courtney in for Canty today. Jaden McDaniels, 32 points, 10 rebounds. Your guy.
Terrence Shannon.
You've had a week, Michelle.
Seriously.
Between Io
your Illinois guys?
Terrence Shannon Jr.? That's right.
Well, Io did not play last night, which
know.
we need to get to that in a second. 24 points for the replacement of the replacement. Think about that for a second.
For an Illini. Are the
No, for Ant-Man. That's the issue.
Well, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But that's Minnesota, what they've been in this series versus Denver. It's next man up.
It's remarkable what they were able to do. Closing them out in 6 games. Jokic had 28 points, 10 assists, and 9 rebounds. And now they go home. And if you just look at this big picture, if I would have told you Anthony Edwards would be injured in this series, wouldn't play, and his backup ultimately wouldn't play in a closeout game, and Denver would lose this series before even getting to 7 with Nikola Jokic, and Aaron Gordon is arguably the best role player in the NBA. Derek White, Aaron Gordon, Keldon Johnson, some of these guys that are like elite level role play. Draymond, obviously, when they're in there. And he doesn't play, so let's acknowledge that. But this is stunning. Borderline inexcusable. And I have a question. How come Jokic gets a complete pass?
Who's giving him a pass?
Okay, well, so Jokic, title, right?
Yes.
Multiple-time MVP.
Yes.
He's been to 2 conference finals. 1 team his whole career. Okay? Title, multiple MVPs, 2-time conference finalists. 1 team his whole career. We all want Giannis traded. And we all critique Giannis. They have the same resume. I love Jokic. Absolutely love him. First ballot Hall of Famer. We shouldn't critique him. Just like I don't know that we should be critiquing Giannis as much as we are and saying you should get out, you should get out.
I totally disagree with that.
Actions over words. All Giannis has had is words, no actions. He's never actually left or tried to leave. Why? I hate what I'm about to do. I don't think Jokic gets a pass right now. I don't.
Who's saying he should get a pass?
Okay, well then let's start the conversation. Go ahead.
You don't have Ant to contend with when DiVincenzo is out, when Io DeSumo, who had one of the greatest games we've ever seen in NBA playoff history coming off the bench,
no doubt,
is not in the mix as well. You have no excuses. Denver should have absolutely won that game, and they should have won this series. They should have taken advantage of the vulnerabilities that the Minnesota Timberwolves had, and they couldn't get it done. Jokic does not get a pass. But perhaps some people wouldn't be as hard on him as they would on someone like Giannis, because Giannis talks about wanting to be great. Giannis talks about wanting to win another title. And it's not that Jokic isn't a competitor. He certainly is. He takes his craft very seriously. He's a champion. He's an MVP. He wants to win. But what do we assign Jokic's personality to? Oh, he just wants to play basketball and go back home and hang with his horses. Mm-hmm. He doesn't care as much as some of these other guys. And sometimes I think we underplay his competitive nature because it's funnier to talk about the horses and all of his demeanor and the personality around him. But he should absolutely not get a pass. I don't care what anyone has to say about what he's accomplished. When you're that great, you should take advantage of the opportunity that you had to beat a depleted Minnesota Timberwolves team.
Well, the conversation would have been so different around LeBron James. Like earlier in his career, if his team was a 3 seed, the opponent was a 6 seed, the opponent you're playing doesn't have their best player and another top 5 player at his position in DiVincenzo, LeBron would have gotten crucified if what happened to the Nuggets happened to his team. Yet for some reason, I don't understand why we give Denver a pass. Maybe it's the recency. Well, they won a championship within the last couple of years. They've gotten close, but think about what happened during that finals run and think about what's happened beyond that. They've never beaten a 50-win team in the playoffs that Nikola Jokic has been on for Denver. Why don't we focus on that a little bit more? To me, this is the byproduct of a player who we've been comfortable saying since he's comfortable there, we're never going to pickpocket or pick apart what Nikola Jokic does as a basketball player. He's great. He's won all these MVPs. He's always in the conversation of the most playoff triple doubles for guys that are currently playing and doing it in the fewest amount of games. Yet this series kind of exposed something with him. even last night, did you see him getting into it with a couple guys? There were multiple scrums that he's in the middle of. Obviously, what happened in game 5, or I think it was game 4, the one on Saturday last week, where he ends up getting into it at the end, gets himself ejected with the Jaden McDaniels of it all. There's a frustration layer here that I think it's not him being frustrated with his team, but with his own play. I think he realizes it as much as we realize it, that this is not going to this is not going to cut it going forward if he wants to be on a team that's going to get back to where they were 3 years ago.
I think the way you guys are setting it up is truly perfect. It's almost disrespectful to Jokic's greatness to not be critical of a first-round series loss.
Correct.
And then to not look at the previous or the last 3 years after winning a title and point out they fired a head coach, they fired a general manager, everyone's been hurt, they traded Porter Jr., they had second round, first round exit. Giannis and Jokic, since winning the title, respectively, have basically been the same thing. And we are unbelievably critical of Giannis, and we are not as critical of Jokic. I understand that Giannis brings it upon himself in some regards by kind of always alluding and hovering around the contract stuff where Jokic doesn't ever do that. But I also would say we don't really ask him much about that. He was last night because he's eligible for a Supermax extension now. Mm-hmm. And I don't think he should go anywhere. I would never consider trading him ever if I were Denver. It wouldn't even be under consideration. And saying that, everybody's like, yep, I agree. But I would also have said the same thing, and I have said the same thing about Giannis, and everybody's like, oh, you're ridiculous, you're crazy. It's much harder to win in the Western Conference than it is in the Eastern Conference. I still don't know if I would trade Giannis if I'm Milwaukee. I still don't. And I wouldn't even consider it if I'm Denver. But those two statements I just made, which are basically the same, I'm taking the same player with the same resume and saying that I wouldn't trade either one of them. One is looked at as dumb, and the other one is looked at as smart. Why? No, seriously. Like I know
because one has won multiple MVPs. I think
both have won multiple MVPs.
But more. Okay, I understand that. I get you're putting resume against resume. We still consider. You ask anybody right now. Injury history, I think, factors into that for sure, and taking Giannis and putting him on the sideline. But more people, when you say put Nikola Jokic and Giannis Antetokounmpo side by side, pick the better player, they're going to say it's Nikola Jokic. They're going to say it 10 out of 10 times, Evan. We can go poll the people right around where you guys are in New York right now. A random, unbiased poll in a place where I think you're going to get some pretty unbiased answers. I guarantee you 10 out of 10 are going to say Nikola Jokic is the better player. And that's, like, you're right. Everything is very similar within the stretch of 2020 to where we are right now. But we give Nikola Jokic a pass because it's always about what's around him, what's not around him that has caused his team to fall short the last couple of years. Why they haven't been able to get back to the conference finals for 3 straight years after making it to the NBA finals and winning it. I don't know what you need to do here, because we've talked about this. Is Jamal Murray not the right running mate for him? Obviously, Aaron Gordon's fantastic, but there's a ceiling there. What do they need to do? What realistically do they need to do, and can they do to make this roster better? I don't know if it's an easy answer with this team. I think Milwaukee's a much easier answer because at least the player has intimated that he doesn't want to be there. Nikola Jokic has never said anything to the contrary. He said it twice last night that he wants to be a Nugget forever.
Ev, I have a question for you, but we're running out of time. You want to do it on the other side? Because I think you're going to need some runway for this one.
Oh, boy. Now I'm nervous. What is she going to do to me? This is not good. She just soft-launched a question. We'll do that next. We're on Sportsmanlike, presented by Progressive Insurance.
Tomorrow.